So to start, I'd like you to navigate over to shader light, which you can do by Googling shader light. Once you are on the shader light page, go to downloads and then trial PC, or if you're a Mac person, go to there. Next, you can sign in if you have an account. Otherwise, you're going to need to register. Here's the register page. Just fill out your information. Once you've filled all of that out, head over to the try shader light option on the home screen, and then trial license PC. Then download, and there's a code on the page after you've signed up, and after that you have to save that somewhere. Hit download, wait for it to download, choose your save location, after that finishes downloading, run the installer. Should be pretty simple. Choose your directory, and it will install. Once the installer is done, hit finish and navigate over to shader light. There's nothing that you can do here at the moment, so you can exit out of that and go to your version of SketchUp. I'm running 2014. Once that boots up, give it a minute. Choose your template. Once that boots up, which it will in a minute here, you're going to have a new panel of options, which I just put on the top there. Next, open up the scene that you want to render, or the model. For me, I just chose a recent project that I did using the sandbox tool. Navigate around to a location that you want to be in. Now you can hit the materials option, which is that sphere, and choose some of the options for the materials. The options include glass, matte, and a bunch of others, which you can find just by looking through the options. You're going to want to open up your materials editor and then use Alt-click if you're on Windows to choose the material that you want to edit. This one is the Lotus Elise's color scheme, which I want to be a metal and have a relatively glossy effect, which you can use here. The bump controls how rough it is generally, so for this I'm just going to leave it nothing. Next I'm going to do the windows, which are going to be glass. You can find out a lot of the different different sorry, you can find out a lot of the different choices just by testing out different things. Now I'm going to color the pavement, or I did just color the pavement. Now I'm going to do the grass, which is going to be a matte color. Next is the pavement, which is going to be another matte, but it's going to be a more rough texture. Next, the windows of the Elise, which is transparent, thin glass. Now the walls. Here I just want a basic matte for the color, so I'm going to do a matte and smooth. Now zoom out to the scene that you want and open up settings. Here you can change the resolution. We can get into more options with the Pro version. For low resolutions like that, I find that quality setting is about as good. You can change the scene and lighting type and background, which you can find out mostly just by playing around with it. Next, press the render button, which will open up shader light, and if you see in the bottom left hand corner of that shader light window, it will start processing the render and then get juggling on it. Now if you zoom in on this resolution, you can see that it's pretty pixelated, and I'm not a big fan of that. But I will just let it go for a little while and show you some of the result. See, it's pretty pixelated. Use a fake. Here's the final product. It's a render, and then here's another render that I did. If you zoom in, you can see that it's pixelated. You might be able to use that low resolution, but I don't really like it. So now I'll show you how to configure the Pro version trial. So you're going to go into Shader Light for SketchUp, and then activate Shader Light, which you can use automatic activation, and then enter your activation code, which you saved from the website previously. There's mine. You can't use it again, so I don't really care if you use that. Now that you've done that, there's not much more you can do with materials, but I'm going to just change a couple of settings because I didn't really like the settings that I got with the render. I decided to move to a polish 3 to get an even more uh, glossy effect, and I'm going to change the wheel color to be a glossy 2, or a metal. Now, I believe that's it. So now I'm going to zoom out to the view that I wanted to have the render of, and I can exit out of this. Or maybe just change a couple more things. I didn't like the sort of low quality of that, so I'm going to bump that up, but I don't like how that looks either, so I'm going to set it back. Exit out of this, that. So now you can hit the render button. But no, there's more things that you can do. Now that you've upgraded to Pro, you can set the resolution to be higher. I like 1920 by 1080, which is HD 180p. You can also change more of these settings. I like physical sky and then lighting environment. Now you can open up the render again by pressing that button and go to current render. Let it chug along for a little while. And now, if we zoom in on this, you can see that it is much less pixelated. It still is pixelated, but that is a much smaller area that's pixelated and you won't notice. So I skipped the render because it's long and boring, and so this is the final product. You can change the angle of the sun within SketchUp using settings that I'm not going to go into now. You want to save the file by going to File, Save As, and going into whatever directory you want, and saving it as the file name that you want. So that is how you use shader light render to create photorealistic renders. In a minute here, I will show you a render that I did of the same scene using some different sun settings, and I changed the grass from that texture to a green because I didn't find that the texture looked nice. The best way to get good renders that I've found is to go and experiment with the settings and find what works best for you. So go out there, experiment, and make some nice renders. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you found it useful.